Hello, sorry this video is going up a bit late because I've just been busy coming back to school. Winter break ended, and excuse the mess of like my desk and stuff, still unpacking and like reorganizing everything. But today I'm going to do a review of the finale of season 4 of Sherlock, which was called The Final Problem. First thoughts is just it was probably, I think, my favorite episode of Sherlock so far. It was so, like, emotional, but, like, mysterious, and it was just so good. I think there's not a lot of, like, side plot lines to talk about. There really was just the main plot line, which I thought was a really good story. At the end of the last episode it was revealed that Sherlock and Mycroft had a sister, and through this episode we got to learn more about her and who she is and what she's done in the past, and it was very interesting. I don't know what Sherlock's parents did to produce these three weirdos, but she was definitely an interesting sort of villain type character. She wasn't quite a villain, but kind of. She did kill quite a few people. I thought it was very interesting to see the dynamic between her and Sherlock, especially like how it changed throughout the episode as well, because I mean, he didn't remember her at first because he had just been blocking out those memories, but as soon as he learned about her again, he started remembering things, and I mean, she's done some terrible things in the past, especially to Sherlock. And through the flashbacks and Sherlock's realizations, we learn that she killed Sherlock's friend when they were kids because she wanted to play with Sherlock. So she's definitely not exactly mentally stable. And but to see him go through that entire process of like learning that she exists, who she is, what she's done, and having to sort of accept her was really interesting. I think, so the main part of the episode was them going through her like 3 little trials that she created for them to try and survive. So first, the governor, I think he killed himself to save his wife, but then his wife got killed anyway, which was sad. But they had to just move on. Like, Sherlock and John kept saying they have to play soldiers today. And so the first trial was, I think the first one was, I remember the 3 of them, but I can't remember exactly what order they went in. But the first one of them was where Sherlock had to choose which one was the murderer, and he thinks he figured it out, and she's like, oh, you're right, and then killed all 3 of the brothers. So she's already racking up bodies. And then one of the trials, which was, I've never been so stressed watching this show, I swear, which is saying something because every single episode is stressful. But the scene there was a coffin in the middle, and he was like, it's not a child, but it's like a small adult, probably a woman. And at first I thought it was going to be the woman too, just like John said, like Irene Adler. And then Mycroft or John showed the front of the coffin, like the top part, and it said, there was a little plaque on it that said, I love you, and I'm like, it's Molly. Oh my god, I was so stressed, I can't even articulate it. And so he had to call Molly on the phone and get her to say the words, I love you, or she would be blown up in the house. And I was so stressed because I wish there was more to this scene. Like, it was my favorite scene of the episode by far, but I wish there was a little bit more. Like, Molly had said she was upset that day, and I want to know why was she having such a bad day. And I would also really like to see the aftermath of that scene when Sherlock has to go to Molly and explain what happened and all that. But I think both from Molly and from Sherlock, what they said was genuine. And I mean, I'm a huge Sherlock and Molly shipper, not gonna lie. But like, even taking that away, they do love each other, whether it's platonic or romantic. But That scene was just so beautifully written, and it was like really well put together, but it was also so stressful. Oh my god, I just couldn't take it. And then some of the other stuff that happened later is Sherlock was knocked out and put in this fake room with all these pictures, and then he had to save the girl he'd been talking to on the phone the whole time, who was on the plane that was about to crash. And then he also had to save John, who was in a well with, this is when he realized his sister killed his friend when they were kids because they were bones of a child, which was super creepy. So she killed a child by throwing him in a well and just let him die in there. But the whole big twist of this was the airplane was not real. It was a game in her mind, I guess. I don't know. And so when Sherlock found her, he was like, oh, it's not real. I'm here now, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of seemed to me like they were trying to go for sympathy for this character, Eurus, if that's how you pronounce it. And I get from Sherlock's point of view that no matter what this girl does, she's always going to, or he's always gonna feel something for her because she's his sister. But for me, I was like, she's killed quite a few people already in this episode, so I didn't really feel any sympathy for her. She's like, because she was sad about being alone and crazy, and I'm like, well, that's what happens when you kill children when you are a child. But either way, I still really liked the story. And then one of the other big things in the episode is we did get to see Moriarty again. I had really, really wished that he was alive. Like, it would have just been so much fun to see him again. Like, actually see him again. But it was a flashback from 5 years ago, and Eurus wanted to create this final problem for Sherlock and Mycroft and John, probably. So she created, the game that they played throughout the episode. And so in it, Moriarty has these little videos and stuff that he, plays, little tapes and stuff that go with the game. But I think my favorite part was seeing Mycroft, come to that island. Him getting out of the helicopter with the song was just hilarious. And then, just seeing him again was really funny, and interacting with Mycroft and all that. So I love that actor. He does a beautiful job as Moriarty, so it was just so much fun to see him again. And then I think that's pretty much all the big things that happened in the episode, but the ending for once was not a huge cliffhanger, so that's something. So maybe the year or two wait won't be as painful this time, but let's be real, it probably still will be. I thought it was a really nice way to tie up the ending, John raising Rosie and Sherlock being the godfather helping, and Molly came in that one time, which I wish they had done a conversation between Sherlock and Molly, but they didn't. I thought it was really, really good. I really do think this has been my favorite episode of the show, and I probably say that with every episode, but I think it was because the entire time I was on the edge of my seat, and it was just insane, and I loved it so much. So yeah, that is my review for the last episode of Sherlock for this season. Hopefully it'll be back soon. I've heard it might come back with in a year instead of 2 years this time, so cross your fingers. Yeah, that's it. I don't really have any videos planned right now necessarily, but if I come up with something, I will see you guys later. Bye!